So bipartisanship on the Hill. Now, you opposed, I understand, TPA. What is your reaction ahead of this expected trade vote today?
Well, I expected that the Republicans and Democrats, I always knew, Jose, there was never a secret, that there were enough votes between Democrats and Republicans to pass. I was here in 1993. I hate to tell people that I was here back 23 years ago. I saw it happen then when President Clinton cobbled together such a coalition. And so I fully expected it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I wanted to vote for TAA because I thought, you know, I'm against the trade agreement, but I'm for assistance. So here's my hope that we still have an opportunity to get the trade assistance that so many people are going to need in my district and throughout the country.
Why are you so opposed to this?
Because I think it's not transparent, because we don't get to amend it later on. You give somebody this authority and then they go and they negotiate, and then you get an up and down vote later on. I think there should be a legislative process in which we get to say there's this, there's that. And the other thing is, let's remember in the House of Representatives, Jose, my friend Congressman Ryan, the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, he did amend the bill. He took several measures from Republican colleagues and amended the bill. Why can't we in the minority participate in the same process? Maybe our amendments won't be agreed to, but we should be able to amend the process. And the other thing is, look, the American worker should be first and foremost in our mind, and not facilitating an agreement that's going to let a large American corporations move forward and profit even more.
Congressman, in this spirit of bipartisan agreement that you're talking about, where does it leave other issues? Let's think, for example, of something you and I have talked a lot about, immigration reform. You've been pushing for that for decades. Not a lot of movement there. Any possibility that on this issue, this bipartisan spirit could transfer?
Well, the leadership will not allow a vote in the House of Representatives. But you know, Jose, we're making progress. I think you've probably noted that when there are Republican xenophobic measures to take away the Dreamers, their right to have a work permit, you see a dozen or so Republicans vote with Democrats to stop that. And that's happened on more than one occasion, on several occasions, when really mean, spirited attempts to even hurt more the immigrant community and their advances. You see that there are Republicans that are joining us. The other thing is, look at Jeb Bush right now. I mean, one of the reasons I think he's probably doing best or better in the Republican, because he had a pretty nice press conference out there, right? It was a diverse press conference. There were Latinos. He spoke English and Spanish, and he was unafraid to speak both languages. And although he doesn't have my position on immigration reform, he said, you know, I don't like Obama's executive actions, but guess what? I'm going to eliminate those executive actions with something better. So I think we're winning Hillary Clinton. In 2008, you remember, we kind of laughed a little bit. She got all freaked out because somebody asked her about driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants. And that was shocking. She didn't know what to do with driver's licenses. Today she's saying, hey, not only will I give Dreamers if I'm president, use my executive authority for Dreamers, I'll do it for their moms and dads and expand. So you see, Jose, really, we're winning. There are elements of bipartisanship. If we could only get a vote, I think you would see bipartisanship really reign.
And Congressman, on this issue of immigration, you're just back from a trip to the Carnes Family Detention Center with a group of your colleagues. Your office shot this video. It's shaky. You're not camera people, but you can see a protest breaking out during your visit. What did you see there, and what are your thoughts when you came back from there?
You know, heartbreaking, Jose. I had a 14-year-old Jonathan put his arms around me. I wanted to take him home with me, Jose. There are over 1,000 children, Jose. Over 1,000 children. Over 1,000 children, and the second facility where the video is being shot. Over 1,000 children with their moms in that facility. I met with people that have been there a year. They have bonds of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. They have already proven to a court that they have a credible fear. And that means what happens is at the very beginning, they didn't do anything wrong. You know, I was recently in Miami, and I saw 6 refugees from Cuba arrive in Miami. And I saw people line up with food, with clothes, welcoming, and within days they were in the midst of their family members and their communities. You know, Jose, what we have to understand is when there's a totalitarian regime, we get it, right? They abuse people's human rights and their rights of expression, and they jail them, and totalitarian regimes do that. Well, guess what? There are totalitarian regimes that are run by drug traffickers, by cartels, and they are just as devastating to your freedom and your ability to prosper and to be free as any totalitarian regime.
And Congressman, yesterday on Noticiero Telemundo, on the evening newscast that I anchor on Telemundo, we had a mother and her child that was released recently, and she said, you know what, compared to what we had, it was a golden jail, but it was a jail nonetheless. And a lot of these kids, Congressman, have been there. They've spent a significant portion of their life in detention.
Look, I met a 4-year-old girl. She got there when she was 3. She spent a quarter of her life. Jose, there is no reason in the United States of America we should let people line their pockets when children are fleeing abuse, when children are fleeing violence, when children are fleeing a society that has no rules. And you know what? This is for profit. These jails are not run like other jails in the United States. These are for-profit institutions which we, the American government, pay. You know what? You think they're going to give them the doctors that they need? You think they're going to give them the dentists and the teachers, the psychologists? You think they're going to give them the food that they need? Or you think if you're a for-profit and you're a corporation, what's your bottom line? Making money. We should never allow people to make money with our children. And they are our children because they're our responsibility.
Yeah, and public or private, the question I think we need to continue having in a further discussion is what purpose do these detention centers hold, whether they're private or public? Congressman, thank you for being with me. It's always a pleasure to see you.